Sisi ndio wale watoto wa Mungu, kitugusa tapigwa na Mungu, na tulipokatuweka Mungu kimboni ya jicho lake huyu Mungu. Sisi ndio wale twapendwa na Mungu, kitugusa tapigwa na Mungu, chini juu katuleta Mungu. Sio mchezo kupendwa na huyu Mungu. Mungu ni mmoja, hii dunia nampenda, namwamini, namzungumzia Mungu mmoja yule wa upendo.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I don't know where you're watching me from. It's at night where I am, just preparing to go to sleep. I'm so tired, guys. I've been having such a, can I say, busy month. Of course, it's the beginning of this year, January 2024. We must mark the dates. And I want to ask you, because today is, for most of us, I think we are already on the 20th of January, and I will start, because I'm a Christian, let me start by addressing our religious aspects, our religious self. For those of you who have been fasting and are still fasting this year as a fast fruit, what have you attained in the last 20 days? I'm a woman of God, and I'd never shy away from saying that, but a lot of the times and often, can I use the word often, I see, as I'm handling Christians, there's some level of mindset that we need to get rid of. There's something that one of my spiritual mentors told me, that you should not fast, and the Bible says it, you should not fast, first of all, if you've not corrected some situations, okay? The second one is that when you're fasting, you must have a vision, all right? And the third one that I know is that when you're fasting, definitely the fruits will show, because the Bible says that you shall know them by their fruits. So let me start with us who are spiritual, who are in that space. We are 1 day short of what we call, what scientists say, that it takes 21 days to change a habit or something. What have you achieved? And what are you achieving? Did you even start with a vision? This past few, can I say, weeks, first of all, in December, I took a break, I think from the 25th. Most of you who are my clients know that. And in January, I also, for the first week, I was on a break, but mostly the break was to help me reflect and, kind of like, can I say, strategize going forward. And there's something that came to mind, and I'm reading a very interesting book right now by a guy called Finley. And he says that nature is very, very intelligent, and it has its own way of manifesting what is happening. And I'll use a tree, because I love using kind of approaching situations or giving example using the analogy of nature itself, things that are in the nature. And for this time, let me use the tree. And I will use a fruit tree. Pick any fruit tree. Most of these fruit trees, first of all, they have stages of growth. And the epitome of all this is when they start bearing fruits. And as they bear fruit, some of them are intelligent enough to do what? Can I say, the fruits, when they get heavy, like that is nature's intelligence, they fall off. Now, I want to use that for today before I retire to bed. And I can see someone is saying that my thingy is not okay. Let me adjust, but let me say this, even as I strive to adjust this thing, this band. This year, one of the things that I've said is that I'm not going to look for perfection. because I feel that there's a lot of perfectionism that is being manifested in social media spaces. So you'll be seeing a lot of me in no makeup per se, but what is important is what I can do at that particular time in terms of impacting. And I think as we grow, we also realize that scales must also fall off. And that is my topic for today, because we are still in January and I really feel led to talk about this. There's so much holding on that we carry into New Year's, and we end up expecting different results. And even as I say this, I am talking to myself as Dr. Venus. Over the years, you might have been handling many issues, and when I talk about issues, I'll be focusing on mental health because that is my niche. And the most critical triggers in any individual space is, number one, let me start with myself, because I feel that having that level or hierarchy is very important. Spiritually, you don't have any anchor. You have, you basically, have so much going on for you, and unfortunately, you don't, lean on a higher power. And when I talk about higher power, I'm very inclusive of other religions. So I will not really, name the gods, but you who is listening to me, if you're a Buddhist, you know who you rely on in terms of higher power. If you're a Christian, for us, for sure, we are so sold out to the blood of Jesus Christ. And when you don't have a higher power and you don't have an inclination, there's something in you that doesn't really function well, and that is from my own point of view, so don't shoot me down. I talk from a place of experience. Of course, we all have our different experiences, but for myself, what I'd like to say is that spiritual inclination is very, very important, because when you don't know where to go, where do you go? So I will start with that, and that's why I started with the people who are on fasts and all these things that that people do in January. At the end of the day, first of all, why are you doing what you're doing? And number two, have you observed the right process? A lot of, and I'll say this, a lot of. And please don't shoot me down. This is just a view that I have, having handled a lot of people. Sometimes we also tend to be too spiritual, that we forget our duties as human beings. A pastor who is always at the pulpit, always in church, always, and his or her family is not functional, cannot really see the fruition that would otherwise be part of his, growth. Why? The basic structure, when you talk about the roots, when you talk about the trunk, is not in place, is not aligned. So how do you bear fruits? When a branch of you is dead, your children are crying because of you. Your wife is crying because of you. Your siblings are crying because of you, and you're busy there fasting. I would want to just pause there so that I don't end up looking like I'm attacking the church or the religious fraternity. That is not my intention. I am one of those, and in the same period. But I think going forward, it's a high time that we let the scales fall off. Can we not look for perfection? All right. Can we look for elevation? And elevation must come with alignment. So that is the first thing. So 3 things that I feel and I have realized that affect the human mind, and especially in the therapeutic space, is, first of all, spirituality, where you don't have an anchor. So you face a lot, and you stand to face a lot because ideally you do not understand the systems, the spiritual systems. Then let's move on to the second one. And the second one is you as a person, you as an individual, because just like an onion, you're seated at the right in the middle. inside the bulb, you form the bulb, and around you are many layers of the environment that you find yourself in. And you being at the center of it all means, just like a pivot, you create the balance that you want in life. So please put and take a mental note of the two analogies that I've used: the pivot and the pivot in a seesaw. Let me say that, where we you understand what a seesaw is all about, and you being the onion, but you critically being the bulb inside that, and before you really get to the bulb of an onion, you really remove those layers. Okay, so ideally, there's what we see externally when you walk into a therapy room as therapists. And as we continue with the sessions, and that's why we say one session is hardly enough. When you come and book in for a session and you're looking for one session, first aid, and you go and you think you have been healed, let me tell you, that becomes the starting point of most of your troubles, because any therapeutic journey takes time. It's not a one-off. You must take time, you allow the process to unfold, and then you're able now to really understand yourself as you walk the journey with the experts. So you're there, and you have no balance, and you've never had balance maybe for the previous years, that you have been alive. And I would want to specifically say when in your adult years, because that's, maturity commands certain levels of awareness. So nothing seems to work for you, but ideally you will still go through the same things that you've been going through. You have been fasting, and then after fasting come February and the rest of the months, you go back into vicious cycles or patterns of frustrations and failures, and not forgetting stagnation. This time around in 2024, and this being my first video in 2024, I just want to challenge you to let your scales off, the scales of perfectionism and all that. What do I mean as I say this? Any seesaw has 2 points, 3 points, and the one that I want us to really focus on is you being in the middle, where you create the equilibrium. So on one side you have support systems, on the other side you have anything that is against you. All right, sometimes I feel time is against me because I hardly have time. Sometimes I feel maybe my finances are against me because there's so much to be done. Sometimes I feel like there's some friends who are against me. There's some family members who are against me. So as an individual, as you listen to me, critically what is against you. Okay, so we are not going to be focusing on Dr. Venus. I'm using a lot of examples. Some are self, and some are just very can I say a book approach or theoretical approach. But in this space, as you listen to me, I want you to ideally ask yourself who and what is against you, because for change to happen this year, you must focus on what you need to let go of. And this being January, I believe all of us are in January in a particular year. You must focus on what has been against you, what has been stagnating you and frustrating you in the past, for you to also be able to enjoy a new year. Forget about all the screaming you did, on the eve of New Year, or as you got into this New Year. Forget about that, okay? Remember that you're in a process whereby you're focusing, and this, of course, again and again, I will say, this being the first month, focusing on what has been pulling you down as you fast and pray. Okay, what has been pulling you down in the previous years? Okay, so I'm basically talking about awareness. Now, what is against you and what is not for you, or what shoots you down? Those three things are the ones that you need to let go of. You're the tree here that I'm talking about. You're the bulb in the onion that I'm talking about. And you're the pivot that helps this, seesaw balance very well. You cannot hold on to heavy and toxic fruits that do not support your standing tall as a tree. Okay? You cannot live if the rings that surround you as an onion, okay, are rotting. So eventually it will catch up with you. Okay? And that is why I feel even this, I tend to feel like this dry, are they called bulb fruits? Okay, kind of like they let the outer part of it is dry because it needs to preserve what is inside. And I'll be talking more about this in the future, in the sessions to come. If you're new to this channel, please make sure you click the subscribe button. If you're new to TikTok, follow me. I'll try and divide this into uploadable content. And if you're new to Instagram as well, follow us. I do a lot of things, and just allow me to kind of like reintroduce myself. My name is Dr. Venus, for those of you who do not know me. So I currently have a new project, and that is a rehabilitation center. And my rehabilitation center is so different from the rest. I don't believe in the prison mentality. I don't believe in, I'm just looking at an individual as, a mentally ill person. I look at the systems, and that is why I brought in the issue of the onion. So who's in your space? Because a lot of these alcoholics and drug addicts are suffering because there are so many triggers that surround them, and they do not have, number one, awareness, number two, what we call willpower. So I run a rehab. If you know someone who is in a situation where they need help, they need to be rehabilitation, please get in touch with me. I will put my number, but I can also just, say it out loud and clear here. I'm in Kenya. I'm based in Kenya. +254 722 816167. All right, 722 816167. You can contact me. If you're not able, you can WhatsApp me, drop a message. I normally respond. Even if I'll take a bit of time, I will definitely respond. So if you have a loved one who needs to be in a rehabilitation center, bring them to us. We have many approaches that we are using, and we don't let go of individuals until they have changed. Okay? We are all about the results and the fruit, and not really about money. I had another lady talk about, rehab's about money. I think I'm very much established to even approach this ministry that I have and that is accountable to God with that, mindset. I always say, if you can save one person, and they will bring all their wealth to you. So that is not the approach we use at our rehab. We are very, very affordable at the moment. So get in touch in case you know someone in your family struggling with issues like gambling, issues like alcohol, issues like, and they're destructive. I don't want to look like I'm shooting down, companies or, people who are doing their own other, businesses. I'm not shooting down. What I'm just saying, if it has gotten to a place whereby there's suicide thoughts, there's stealing, there's lies, there's all these things, you must bring your person to the center. All right. Now, I do a lot of therapy, and therapy includes talking to organizations, people, employees, and all about mental health. Don't call me for any other thing. I'm here about mental health, and I've been doing this for years. Okay. I also do one-on-one counseling with individuals who are facing various challenges, and I also do what we call group therapy, and that comes in many forms, where I'm called to speak to churches, I'm called to speak to groups of women who desire to grow, I'm called to speak to children in schools. So basically, what I do surrounds mental health. All right. And I also believe in spiritual counseling, because I'm one as well, away from just the usual. Yes, I also do. And I like to approach things from a spiritual perspective. But with the consent of the client. If the client does not give me consent, I will not do it. All right. Now, so I was talking about what I do. So I've talked about counseling and, psychology. I've talked about the rehabilitation center. And the third one, of course, is mediation. I'm a mediator, fully trained and certified. So I also do mediation. Number 4, I'm a life coach. So for people who feel stagnated and all that, you need to really follow me through this year, hopefully by the grace of God, and all situations aligning themselves because I want them to, and I basically very much work towards them. It's because we all have choices. You can make things work for you, you can make things work against you, and it still comes down to awareness. Those of you who are stagnated, frustrated, and face various, repeated patterns of challenges, you need to talk to us. Even if it's not me, look for a coach near you and let them help you through, because God has given us the power to make choices. Okay? And back to the issue of the tree. A tree can, is intelligent. Let me say that is intelligent. So when you see a fruit fall off the tree, it's because either it's heavy, number 1, number 2, it's ripe, and number 3, it has been rejected by the tree or the forces of nature. Now, 2024, you cannot keep on holding to what? Number 1 is toxic. Number 2, what is against you. Number 3, what you yourself can see and feel is not working. But because of publicity, because of all these what we call perceptions and self-created views, personal views, you're holding on to. I believe there's someone here who is listening to me who is holding on to a job that is not profitable to them. Basically, you just wake up, show up, go to work. There's nothing you're gaining from that job. There's nothing that is there for you in that employment. There's this one person who is holding on to a spouse and therefore against you. Like if you look at how they come across, they don't offer you any support. It's vicious cycles of you looking for help, trying to make them love you, and especially for women. We are emotional beings, and most of the time we want to be loved, we want to feel supported, and you're there trying, you're always crying, you're always in a very bad situation, even people are wondering what's wrong with you, because you're always talking about this one person who frustrates you through and through. Okay, now the other category is friendships that no longer bear fruits. You're there, you're a tree holding on to fruits that have rotten, fruits that they're not even making your tree beautiful. You as an individual should be beautiful in one way or the other. But because they are rotting, they are basically nullifying your credibility as a person. And you're busy there holding on to these friends. They are against you. They have manifested their energy. But you're holding on to them. My friend, you will not go anywhere. Because even this tree, if you look at a natural tree, sometimes it will even shed off its bark. All right? As a way of preparing itself towards better growth. And you're there, holding on to family members, in-laws, outlaws, siblings. Okay, you have toxic family members, toxic sisters, toxic brothers, toxic in-laws, where you're married and you're busy there holding on because the African culture or whatever culture you belong to has told you that you need to work so hard to make people love you. Sometimes it comes down to just doing your bit. And when you feel the opposition is too much for you to bear, let loose, let go. Even God himself, who created nature and human beings, knows your heart. Even God himself, okay, sees your intentions. So sometimes, and this is my message for today, it's not all about perfectionism. For those of you who know me, I'm as you see me, black or white. I don't take gray areas. I don't like standing in gray spaces. Okay? Because I feel that a lot of people have sunk into severe depression, basically because, and I say this all over and over again, that their friends gave them the wrong perception, gave them the wrong, can I say, energy. They were basically, they gave them the wrong, I'm looking for the right word here, vibe. Are you understanding me? You know, someone comes and they look like they're intentionally, you know, your friends, or they you know, but in their heart of hearts, they are not. And that is what kills humanity. I thought there's a story that was told about a guy who was in need, and he made many calls. Many calls. I'm in need. I have not paid my rent. I'm in need. I've just started a business. I need your help. I'm in need. We all know that sometimes we get into those spaces where you need your friends, your loved ones, you know, to support you. And every time he made that call, everyone was like, oh, I can't lend you. Oh, I can't, you know, oh, I am not able. And then one day, he got fed up because he had gone into serious debt. And this is a sad part of it. He took his own life. Now, news started spreading. Oh, so and so has died. Oh, so and so. And all these friends gathered and contributed money, spilling over to give him a good send-off. Unfortunately, that is the world of today. And if you're going to have this thing, if you're going to borrow from what we are seeing right now in social media spaces, and that's why today I'm in my sleeping gear of perfectionism, because we also have that perception, oh, you have to look good before the camera. Let the scales off. What is important is what you carry in you. What is important is what is in that brain of yours. What is important is what is warped and wrapped around your heart and mind, your thinking power. That is what is important. I've come to a point in my life, and of course as I've aged, where I do not desire perfectionism anymore. What I desire is the truth. Okay? And I want you this month to find your truth, to know your truth. Sometimes even letting go, the process of letting go, does not require energy, does not require fights and all that. All it just requires is understanding. Just understanding, knowing. So I talked about spirituality, okay? I talked about you as a person. And I'm sure someone is wondering, what were you talking about, the seesaw? So you must balance, okay? And in this case, know what you'd want to keep, even though it is toxic, that you can tolerate, okay? So that you remain aligned. Sometimes I feel that even what fights us is what grows us. So just make sure that the weight is balanced very well. But critically, what stands to make you lose so much because of what is being presented when it comes to that I've talked about, what is against you, needs to be let go of. Okay? So, critically, spirituality, you as a person. And the last one, which I think is very important. God asked someone in the Bible, according to the Christian theory, please don't shoot me down. I will talk from who I am. I am not, I do want to also be very sensitive to other religions. So I'm not really shooting down any religion. But in the Bible, God asked Moses, what is in your hand? So I'm going to put this out to you this year. What is in your hand? As we start this year, and I'm saying we're going to be talking a lot. Remember, it's not about perfectionism. It's about delivery. All right? What is in your hand? So I pose that question to you. All these challenges you're facing, what is in your hand that can help you become a better person? What is in your hand that can help you overcome the various challenges that you're facing today? If you're broke, what is in your hand that can help you generate income? Okay? If you lack love, or probably your support systems, or you're feeling rejected or whatever, what is in your hand that can help you feel better, but in a positive way? Okay? Because we can also look for things in various spaces that can, can I say, it's again, there's sweetness involved, but later on it works against you. Okay? If you're thinking of, stagnation, in terms of career, what is in your hand that can help you move to the next level? Because if you're telling me, Dr. Venus, I have not been promoted of late, are you studying? That's what the questions I'll ask you in therapy. What are you doing with yourself? Because there are certain approaches we use, where we focus on you as a person. What are you doing to yourself? Are you the number one distractor of yourself? Okay? Are you the one who pulls yourself down and blames the rest? Okay? So critically, guys, this is the time where you need to decide. We have about 10 days or so, depending on where you are in this part of the continent or in the world. So you have another 10 days. So I believe you've gone through the 21 days of change, as towards fasting. And when you started maybe fasting, and this is for Christians or people who are in that space where they are actually going through the fast. So in these 21 days, if what you're going through right now is what you are going through in the other year, okay, in the next 7 days, I believe you need to make a decision of what you need to let go of. I'm also in that space. Okay, so I normally don't just talk to people. I also act on myself. So what is this thing that you need to release? Because doing this or doing stuff because you want to have that perfect front will harm you eventually. And let me tell you, when you're in that hole, you will rarely find people to pick you up. So the best way is to look at life realistically. And as I conclude, I would say this. I wish each one of you a very happy 2024. Remember, it's not about perfectionism, it's about delivery. Number 2, remember that it's not about other people, it's about you as a person. Number 3, remember that it takes your action for a certain reaction to happen. Okay? Do things right. Life has systems. There are laws that govern even nature itself. And I've used a very good one, a fruit falling off its tree. So what do you need to let go of as you start this year so that you can be able to function well? As I conclude, I say this: anything that does not support you does not deserve you. Anything that does not love you does not deserve you. And lastly, anything that does not enhance your growth does not deserve you. God bless you. See you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Follow me on all social media apps. I either use the name The Mind Spa or Dr. Venus Chengo. Once again, wishing you a not only very thoughtful year, but also a very productive one from the place of awareness. And that is why I'm here today, to mentor you, to take you through psychological approaches in life, and also to see that you attain your goals, because this is all I'm all about. God bless you. Bye-bye.